Hi guys, hopefully all of you are doing well. Today we're going to be making my super velvety red velvet cake with a cream cheese frosting. Not only is this red velvet cake super moist in texture, but the cocoa content is definitely going to get you together. Let's get started on the cream cheese frosting. We're going to take some room temperature butter and some room temperature cream cheese, and we're just going to blend that together until it's well combined. Once we've gotten all the butter and the cream cheese combined, we're going to start adding our powdered sugar. Don't worry, for the exact measurements, we're going to go to gdseasoning.com for this recipe, and the links are in the description. Just gradually add the powdered sugar to the mixture so you don't have a big dust cloud all over the place. Just continue to mix and then scrape down your bowl, and then we're going to add our vanilla extract. This cream cheese frosting only has 4 ingredients and it's really easy to make, as you can see, and you can make it ahead of time. So we've knocked out the frosting. Now let's move on to our red velvet cake layers. For the cake, we're going to start with some buttermilk and some vegetable oil in a nice big bowl, and we're going to blend that until it comes together. Next, we're going to add 2 eggs, one at a time, making sure the first one is blended before adding the next. In this particular red velvet cake recipe, you're going to see 2 ingredients that are not normally found in red velvet cake recipes, and here comes the first one. 1/4 cup of espresso. Or you could just use 1/4 cup of really strong coffee, but that is what's going to back up that cocoa note that red velvet cake should always have. Next, I'm going to add some pure vanilla extract, and I'm just going to keep mixing. Next, I'm going to add the white distilled vinegar and the red food coloring. You need a full bottle of red food coloring, or depending how deep you want the color, but 1 ounce of food coloring should do. And again, all of your ingredients for the cake also should be room temperature. Alright, that's it for most of our wet ingredients. Let's move on to the dry. We have unsweetened cocoa powder, salt, baking soda, and baking powder. So we're just going to throw all that right into the sifter with the flour, and we're also going to add our sugar to the sifter also. Now, you do not have to sift these ingredients this particular time for this recipe. You could just put all of the dry ingredients into a bowl and whisk them together really well. I'll repeat that again. You do not have to sift everything. I've just been baking so many cakes, y'all. I threw all the ingredients into that sifter. So, just mix everything together with a whisk. Now all you have to do is add half of your dry ingredients and continue to mix. Also for this recipe, I actually preferred all-purpose flour. I don't think I mentioned that earlier, but all-purpose flour can get us through. Now here's the second ingredient that's not normally found in red velvet cake, and that is some sour cream. We're going to add 1/2 cup right in between the 2 batches of dry ingredients. Now don't sidestep these 2 ingredients that I've added to this recipe. Follow through. I'm telling you, this is what's going to give the cake that beautiful moisture and that cocoa content. This is the 8th version of this recipe, y'all. I have gone through 8 versions of trying to create this recipe, so everything rings true. I added the final batch of dry ingredients there. And then finally, all you have to do is divide the cake batter into 2 9-inch prepared cake pans. And we're going to bake it at 350 degrees for about 25 to 30 minutes, or until a toothpick is inserted and comes out clean. Once the cake layers come out of the oven, go ahead and let them cool in the pans for about 5 to 10 minutes. You'll know because they'll start to pull away from the sides. And then what I did was I made another batch of batter, and you see it's not a thick batter at all. It's kind of thin. I wanted to see if I can make a bundt style red velvet cake, and let's see if it actually works out. In the meantime, I went on and inverted my cake layers to let them cool. And see, the good thing about making your frosting first is that as soon as your cake layers cool, you can go ahead and start to frost. I'm touching the cake here so you can see how soft and moist these cake layers are. They are not to be handled too roughly, so be gentle with them. And then I go ahead and start to frost. I only put like maybe 3/4 cup of frosting in between the layers. I'm kind of that person that doesn't like a lot of frosting, but the recipe is going to yield plenty of frosting to where you may have some left at the end, and that's okay. You can always put it in an airtight container and freeze it. Then all you have to do is put the second layer on top. And what we're going to do is put a crumb coat on the outside of the cake. So let me give you some notes about this cream cheese frosting. This cream cheese frosting is very creamy and very pliable, to the point where it's super easy to work with. However, after I put the crumb coat on, I put the cake and the frosting in the bowl in the refrigerator to set and firm up just a little for about 20 minutes, because it's going to be easier to apply the second coat of frosting if your crumb coat is set. So I just want to tell you that this frosting doesn't get really super hard to where you can't work with it. So see, now we're at the point where the cake has come out of the refrigerator and it's easier for me to just kind of swirl on a little bit more frosting and that crumb coat is not moving. So you can go ahead and just do whatever you feel. It doesn't have to be perfect. Remember, this is a homemade cake, okay? But do whatever you want. You can make it really smooth. You can do swirls. Whatever you want to do. Now here comes my favorite part. You guys know, if you know me, I love pecans. All you have to do now is take some chopped toasted pecans or walnuts if you like and put them all over the top of the cake. And this cake is ready to be cut and eaten right away, right now. Serve it up. Give everybody a piece. Go ahead and taste it. Ah, so good. Look at this. Look. What? Yeah. This cake will definitely agree with your spirit. I'm gonna tell you guys the truth. A train went through the room while I was trying to get this formula down to what I wanted it to be. It was something else. And so what I did with the formula, finally I was able to come up with a red velvet bundt cake. All of the other formulas that I had come up with before, the edges were a little too hard or it wouldn't work out, but I took that same batter and baked it at 350 degrees for 45 to 50 minutes. And this is the result that we got. I always had in the back of my mind, I was like, wouldn't it be cool if we had the cake batter that was intended for layers to be turned into a bundt and the cake still turn out okay? And it actually did. You can see the surface of the cake. That's what it looks like. If that doesn't bother you, then you can go ahead and make this bundt. It's really cute. It's a short bundt, really easy to make. And all you have to do is pipe the icing or just spread it over with a spatula if you want to over the top. And it's really an attractive cake. And then you don't have to do as much work with the layers if you don't want to. So no matter what version you decide to make, whether it's the bundt cake or the layered version, I do hope you guys give this a try. As always, I thank you guys for joining me and coming and hanging out and cooking with me. You know I appreciate it. Don't forget, this recipe along with others can be found at gdseasoning.com. And I'll see you guys next time.